what the hell are you doing? Like fucking go do some dishes or like get a hobby. Like you fucking loser.
We listen to podcasts all day. I mean, so I think that
Good point. That's pretty much what we're doing, actually.
It's none of our business.
So this comes from somebody who's a hairdresser. My partner put on cameras at my barber shop. At first, I thought it was for security reasons, and I was fine with it, but figured out later that he uses it to watch and listen to everything I talk about with customers. He checks when I get to work and when I leave and when I get home, and I hear about anything that might have made him upset. I feel invaded at my workplace. I have a good relationship with my customers, and it makes him feel insecure. He wants me to do my job and be very brief with conversations. He would rather me not talk to a soul in the world. If I tell him that I don't want him spying, he'll take it against me. Am I wrong for feeling invaded?
What? Of course. Who is? Okay, sorry, I missed the beginning. Did you say it's her boss?
No, her boyfriend. So she has a hair salon, like obviously her own personal hair salon.
Her
and
boyfriend?
He put cameras in it and listens to every conversation that she has with every customer, and then goes over it with her at the end of the day and says, why did you say that? And why did you like,
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Like red flag, red flag, red flag.
run. And she's wondering if she can talk to him about it. Like here's the thing with people like this. It's like she doesn't understand her boundaries, right? And she needs to go. She doesn't even know if it's okay or not for him to do it.
I'd like to know how old she is. Like that's fuck.
She has a hair salon.
So, okay, you pretty much had the same thing happen to you. Like your husband put cameras in your house and like you let it happen. So like let's see, like walk me through that. Like what made you think that was okay?
Well, so for him, like he was somebody he had security cameras outside the house, security cameras inside the house. And for him, it was, oh, I just want to make sure that no one steals our things and da 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 da. Like he was so paranoid. Like he actually, this back in the day when phone lines were like everyone had those cordless phones, and he had scanners so he could hear all the neighbors talking. So he would spend his evenings listening on a headset, listening to what all the neighbors were talking about. So this was somebody who was ultra paranoid, right? So for me, it was like, yeah, fuck, whatever. Like, what are you gonna do? Watch me play with my kids all day? And I didn't care. But I should have. Like, I would never, ever let somebody do that to me again, because when your boundaries are crossed and then they're pushed a little further and they're pushed a little further, like in the beginning, it seemed like, well, who cares? But then in the end, you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, nobody should have the right to listen to every conversation that you have. No. Or like, it's insane. And it's only going to get worse for this poor woman.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think in your case, once he did that, like you were already so deep in with him and his kind of like delusions and the way that he behaved, you kind of thought it was normal. And it's like, hopeful she might be similar. Like he probably, like, what else does this guy do? Like, do you have to text him every time you get to the grocery store to make sure you're actually there? Does he have a tracker on your phone? I bet you he does. And like, I can understand being curious because I'm a pretty curious, nosy person. Like I started my whole other podcast because I was nosy as fuck and I just want to know what's going on in people's lives. So I could be like, you have like so many people in your chair all day. Like, what do you guys talk about? Have that question, ask those questions. Oh, you saw Sally today. Like, how's her husband? Like, if you're actually curious about that stuff, but it's more than that. What this guy is doing is he wants to make sure she's not up to anything bad. He wants to know exactly what she's saying. He definitely reads her text. He goes through her emails, guaranteed. Like there's no, if that's what he's doing, like he's also looking through everything else that she does. And that is
total control. It's total control. And that's what happens is that if you said to him, and I can hear it now, if you said to him, like, you're invading my privacy, he would say, well, if you have nothing to hide, then, you know, those who have nothing to hide nothing, right? Yeah. And I agree with that to an extent, meaning if you want to pick up my phone and see who my text messages are from, I don't have an issue with it. I'm not hiding my stuff from you.
Totally.
But you have no right to track me. You have no right to listen to my conversations, because that says you don't trust me.
Yeah. And there's also the side of it as, okay, so he's her partner. He should be contributing to the household, the life, whatever. If he's spending all of his free time reviewing these tapes, because how much time would that take? Like, what the fuck is he doing then? Like, that would make me crazy. I'd be like, okay, so you're going to come home from work, log on to the computer, sit there, listen to my 8-hour day. What the hell are you doing? Like, fucking go do some dishes or like get a hobby. Like, you fucking loser.
Well, we listen to podcasts all day. I mean, so I think that.
Good point. That's pretty much what we're doing, actually.
Well, oh yeah, we do listen to people's conversations all day long.
So, okay, interesting. Maybe I'm on his side.
Maybe I changed my mind.
Oh, okay. What she should do is make it a podcast, and then it's okay for him to listen. She'll just be interviewing her clients as she cuts her hair. That's actually a good premise for a show.
Yeah, but it is. We should start a hair salon, except for, can you cut hair?
I know, I'll learn though.
It's not cool. It's not cool. That's the bottom line.
I like, it makes me so upset when I see this kind of shit, because like it's very easy to fall into it, and it'll last however many years. Like, you're a prime example, like
well, it is. And like I said, it is one of those things where people take it just one little inch at a time, and you don't even really know it's happening. And it's like that idea of like, well, if it makes him feel better, then who cares? Who cares? But then it's like everything, what ends up happening is everything you do is questioned. And then you start getting anxious about the things that you're not doing.
Well, you told me about how you would take a bike ride or something, and he would check your kilometers, how far you went. And he'd be like, well, where you said you were isn't where, like, it doesn't line up. Where were you actually?
Well, he would say, okay, well, your kilometer said you went 20 kilometers and you've been gone for 3 hours. So where did you stop? Who did you talk to? And then you did stop and you talked to Joe down the street or Janet down the street. And then you're driving home and your heart starts beating a little bit faster, knowing that you're going to have to account for your time. And does the story make sense? Was it okay that you stopped and talked to his friend for 15 minutes? And you start thinking about, like, did I do something wrong? Like, I know I talked to Al for 20 minutes, and oh my God, did I say anything wrong in that time? Maybe that looks like I'm hitting on him. And should I tell him? Should I tell him that I talked to him? You know what I mean? Like, and then you start thinking, well, if I lie about it and then he finds out, but if I tell him the truth, then you'll think I'm cheating on him, and then you look guilty. Like, you come home and you're like sweating. You're sweating. That's it. And you start stuttering because you have to qualify that what you've done is okay, and you don't know if it is. Like, you're thinking, I'm a piece of shit. Like, I shouldn't have stopped and talked to his friend for 15 minutes because what a piece of shit I am. That's such manipulation, and it makes me so sad. But then I started thinking, do I do that with my kids, or will I do that with my kids? Like, where were you? Once they start driving, but it is different because you want them to be safe and everything. But then, like, when does that stop? They're like 27 years old. I'm like, I'm still tracking you. Where are you? That's the thing with phone trackers and stuff these days. Like, I wonder, like, I guess I did have that technology, and my ex-husband actually did track my kids and their phones and would say, you're supposed to be in school right now. Like, where are you? And they're like, Dad, it's a pro G. I'm at my friend's house. And I never did that because I have always felt that I needed to give my kids a bit of space. So that's another whole topic of how much freedom do you give your little shits? I don't know. It's definitely, for me, I'm glad I don't have to deal with it yet. And by the time my kids are old enough, technology is probably going to be different. And they'll have something embedded in their skin, and I'll just, like, always know where they are. Yeah. Honestly. Exactly. I think so too.
It's none of our business.